we're going to make this one really quick. Welcome to weekly vlog number 9. I think this is number 9. I've been delayed getting this episode out because I've been so darn busy, just gigging, rehearsing, working, learning new material, and just family stuff as well. My son had his birthday. We had a party. We went out to eat last night. So just all good things, all awesome experiences. And yeah, just got to say that like everything that's been going on has been super awesome. And I'm really happy with my trajectory and the way things are shaping up this month and for the rest of this year. Okay, so real quick, let's get into it here. What have I been up to? The first thing is the Chris Bad News Barnes gig. We had 2 performances at Third and Lindsley in the past week. We played a full show Tuesday evening and headlined the show. It was great. And before that, we played Friday afternoon for I think it's called the Finally Friday radio broadcast. It's a live radio broadcast. And I want to say WMOT is the radio call sign here in Nashville. Don't know the number. But anyway, we got to perform with Wendy Moten, who's awesome. Oh my God, she sings like an angel. I got to meet her. She's really, really cool. And I can't remember the name of the band. I want to say it's like the Rowan Brothers, Ryan Brothers, Rowan Brothers, band out of England. I guess they're recording with Rick Rubin. I mean, they're definitely doing some things. For what they do, they're awesome at what they do. It's not really my cup of tea, but anyway, it was really enjoyable. We had a great show Friday afternoon. We just did 6 songs. It was a great sort of trial run. And because it was our first performance with the band, with this lineup, with this band, my first time playing with Chris. So a lot of good things there. And then of course the Tuesday night we had the full show. I think we did like 22 songs. So it was a full night of music and comedy. Chris brings the house down with his jokes and with his humor. Tons of laughter and good times and great music, great blues music. Gail Mays was guest artist with us. She finished the night out. We had the amazing Tabitha Fair singing BGVs with us, and she also got featured in the show, and she's freaking awesome. She's doing amazing things. So excited to be working with Chris and the whole crew. It's a great band that's been put together. We had a couple of rehearsals, and it was just a really positive experience rehearsing with this band. Everyone's sort of on board and just. So I didn't mention this. Chris has made me his music director. Now, I haven't done a music director job in quite a while. I used to do it all the time in Las Vegas, and that was kind of like a thing. I even as I moved before I even moved to Las Vegas, I was playing there and MDing a show with another artist, and so I used to do MDing jobs all the time from the drums. I MD'd for Rick Fogno, who else? Dominic Allen. I'm just trying to, yeah. Anyway, I don't need to read off my damn resume, but anyway, just take it from me. I haven't. I used to do it all the time, and since moving here, I've taken more of a sideman role, and the whole MD thing isn't as much of an issue here in Nashville because we don't do as many shows like as it were. You do more concerts and more artist type work, so there's really no MD role typically in the traditional way that this is, where you're giving cues and count offs and that kind of thing, because the drummer normally does that role anyway. So back to the Chris Barnes thing. He has charts for everything. They are immaculate. It makes it so much easier to rehearse and learn the material because the charts are just so neatly organized and presented. He gives you this binder. So if you want to read paper style, you can do it that way and just, turn the pages, old school. The binder comes with a small iPod that he includes with a pair of headphones that is preloaded with all the MP3s of the music that you're playing. Really smart, really, overachiever, I would say. And it just makes it so much easier because you have that iPod. If you need to refer to a song, it's right there in the folder. Everything was in order. I mean, it's just absolutely immaculate. He also sends PDFs. So, a few of us, I think many of us were reading off of our tablet, which is what I was doing. I was reading off my iPad, and I was able to click out the whole show. And that way, the tempos were spot on. It's kind of my normal operating, procedure is just, click out the show so that I can count off the songs in the correct tempo and they feel right, and then just turn off the click once things feel settled. Once I feel like it's okay, we're all locked in together, I turn off the click because I don't want to play blues to a click. That there's no. It's too sterile. It's too clinical. No, 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 no. Blues should not be played to a click. So, especially like shuffles and like slow blues, and I mean maybe some of the straighter eighth stuff. Yeah, a little bit more, but even that, like I want to be able to kind of give and take and have a little push and pull within the band, within between the verses, between the choruses, really, be able to pull things back when it's right. So, yeah, just really, really great stuff. Great band. I'm so proud of everybody for stepping up and playing a great show the other night. Okay, so let's move on to the Music City Drum Show which happened last weekend. Originally, my intention was to go to both days. It was Saturday, Sunday. I had bought tickets in advance for both days of the show. But what ended up happening was I had a gig on the Saturday, and I ended up just spending the whole day cramming for the gig because we had a. So I'm kind of skipping around here. We had a this band, the same band, had a show the previous Monday, and it didn't really go so well. It's a corporate band, dance band, wedding band, whatever you want to call it. We were playing a couple of corporate parties this last week, and the show on Monday didn't go so well. Even though I had played with this band before, it didn't go well because I kind of didn't understand the gig the way that it was meant to be understood. I was approaching it like a typical wedding band, dance band kind of thing, whereas really I needed to learn the medleys and learn the transitions is really what was the problem, as well as some of the songs I thought I knew better than I actually did know. So I had to do a lot of homework after that first Monday night show to catch up and to really get myself in a position where I could, smoothly make those transitions work and make the keep the band on point. Because as I said, the first show, the Monday night was really pretty rough, and it was just a big like, oh crap! Like I thought I knew this stuff, and I didn't know it as well as I needed to. Which, man, I haven't had that happen in forever, if ever. I don't know. I struggle to remember a time when I was so disgusted with myself afterwards, after playing the gig. It was not a good feeling. I'm not perfect by any means, but I like to keep on top of things and really know my stuff and know what's coming next, and that just wasn't the case in on that evening. So I really spent the week focused on learning the sets, and he gave me this huge Google folder that had all these board tapes, which was a little confusing. It's kind of like, because you don't really get a sense of the pacing of the show or the order in which the show is played in. I guess the band leader, he likes to change things up. He reads the audience and he makes his decision as to what to play based upon what's happening on the dance floor. And I get that. It's sort of DJ style, but that that makes it harder to learn because you don't know what's coming next. And as a drummer, I always like to know. I don't want to be surprised. That's kind of a key thing. Like, I don't want to get like in a place where like, surprise, we're playing this song, and I can't think of how that song goes in the moment, or like, what is the beat or what is the tempo, or you know what I mean. So like, that is the key to making the transition smooth, is kind of knowing 1, 2, 3 steps ahead of time what's coming, and be able to sort of visualize, uh, you know, and that change, sort of be able to predict that change, and almost hear it coming before it comes. That way you make the change, the tempo change, the feel change, maybe the patch change on the pad, or whatever you need to do to make the next song work and feel good. So that's kind of key. Yeah, so the gig wasn't what I expected it to be. One thing that the band leader said in his words was that really helped me kind of figure out where he was coming from, was he said, this band is like the Rolling Stones of wedding bands. And so what does that mean? Like, it's not like a tight, like a tight R&B band, like most wedding bands typically, and dance bands tend to be a much tighter like ensemble with the horn hits and transitions, and almost like a production show. This is not that. This is the Rolling Stones. This is kind of sloppy play. He asked me to play like flamming notes. He wanted me to open up the hi-hat. So you know, that comment really kind of just was like an aha moment, like light bulb turned on, like, oh, okay, so now I think I understand where you're coming from, and how you want me to approach playing in this band, because previous to that, that's not how I was thinking or approaching the band. So that really was key. So I'm going out of order here, but with that in mind, I want to share with you some things that I'm thinking about lately since these series of gigs. What am I thinking about on stage while I'm playing? Um, since learning this, first of all, I'm trying to make the groove wider, like feel wider, make it fatter, make it. I'm trying to let's just take like the most simple beat. It's just like boof, 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 or even like maybe a faster tempo, like a boof, 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 like that kind of a groove. Think of it as being how do we widen that groove? Okay, think about the space between the notes, and how do we elongate those? How do we create a more spacious groove, like a big, like imagine sitting in a big like lounge chair, spread out, just kind of like you got your feet up, like that kind of thing. Like that's kind of what I'm trying to visualize from a time perspective. And so, how do we do that? I mean, lay back on the snare, lay back on the kick. Like maybe don't play so on top. Don't clutter. So okay, so there's that word. Don't clutter up the music or the time. So I want to loosen up the hats. I want the hats to feel and sound bigger, thicker, meatier. So not so tight on the hats. Not so. I want it more. Okay, you can do that by hitting the shoulder of the stick. You can do it, but mainly it's with the pedal. You just don't put so much pressure on your left foot and open up the hats just a bit so that they chunk a little bit more. All right, we want them to sound bigger, less finesse notes, less less notey, more drive, more like plowing. If there's hits, if there's figures in the music, maybe don't hit them. Maybe just play time through them. Don't play every accent. Don't play every syncopation with the horns or with the guitar or whatever anticipation. If there's pushes in the music, maybe just play right through them. And a good tune, a good example of me doing that was on the tune Proud Mary, which, the Tina Turner version, which is played very fast and even faster with this band. The band leader wanted it really fast. And so, in that song, I like to, in the past, I like to hit the pushes and the and all the, rolling, rolling, rolling on a river, get that. Okay, so with this band, I purposely was like, okay, I'm not gonna play those pushes, rolling, rolling, rolling on a just keep the groove happening. That's a great example of like how I was changing my playing, changing my approach for this band, and maybe for other bands too. I mean, I'm definitely going to carry this with me with other bands and performance opportunities. So just playing simpler, less notes. Don't hit the pushes so much, and just drive the beat through, plow it through, and let the band do the hits and handle the pushes and the syncopations. Okay, and it tends to keep things tighter that way. I'm thinking more like Phil Rudd, more like Rich Redmond, who, by the way, last year we got to open up for Jason Aldean, and I got to see Rich Redmond play with Jason Aldean a whole handful of times, and I got to watch him really up close. And I would be, you know, like I was trying to count the times that I saw him play 16th notes, and there were very few. I mean, it's like he plays so many fills that are just eighths, and he's just playing to the back of the room. There's no junk in his playing. There's no, I mean, there's finesse, but there's no like there's no like stuff that doesn't belong in his playing. Getting a thunderstorm. I don't know if you can hear the thunder. Hoping we don't lose power. So this is kind of where my head's at right now, is just let's try to get rid of the junk. Less Weckl, less Vinny, more Phil Rudd, more Rich Redmond, more straight up and down meat and potatoes. And I think that's going to do me well. It's going to serve me well, and probably serve you well too. Because I can do the Weckl Vinny thing all day long. I'm not that I'm either of those guys. I certainly don't compare myself to those amazing world class drummers, but though those drummers have been in in my head. And, I've been listening to these drummers since I was a teenager, and so that's really kind of ingrained in me. I'm trying to maybe take a step, not backwards, but just kind of simplify things, and just you try to figure out what belongs and what doesn't belong. More importantly, especially what doesn't belong. And it can be difficult because when I hear pushes in the music and syncopations, it's like I want to play it. It's like I'm coming from the sort of Garibaldi book of like ghost notes and all this like sort of finesse style playing, when really maybe all that's needed is just kick and snare loud and proud, and no ghost notes, and no pushes or whatever. So it's kind of I'm still learning, and you should be too. I mean, this is it's a process. It's a lifelong process. So I'm actually enjoying these gigs and learning these different expectations, learning what the expectations are of these band leaders, and how I can serve them and serve the music in a better way. So yeah, back to the Music City Drum Show. So like I said, it was two days. I only went to the Sunday because, as I said, I was just spent the whole Saturday cramming these medleys and just charting. I made some charts and learning all this stuff that I needed to learn for the gig. So I decided, you know what, it's going to serve me better to just stay home and learn all this music than to go and yuck it up with a bunch of drummers, and knowing full well that the following day I could do that with all day long. So that's what I did. I went and picked up my friend Sarah Berman, and we went together on Sunday. Got there pretty much when the show opened up, pretty early, which was nice because it wasn't crowded. It wasn't, parking was fairly easy. Traffic was easy. Wasn't too hot, and it was just a great day. I mean, it flew by. I saw a whole bunch of friends that I hadn't seen in a long time. Shout out to the amazing folks at Creative Percussion, Kevin Feeney and his wife Sherry. It was so good to see them, visit them. Shout out to the guys at the Canopus drum booth, Joey and Gary, who asked me to dinner later on after the show. We all met here in Mount Juliet, and we went to dinner and just had a great evening, just talking, chatting, catching up, talking drums, talking the biz, and I met some new people too. I met this great drummer. He's a drum tech actually. His name is Kenny Sheritz, and I had been following him online on YouTube. He's got a really great YouTube channel. Check him out. And he has all these tips and tricks about tuning, changing heads, just being a drum tech, cleaning cymbals, and the like. I mean, he's a wealth of knowledge, and really nice guy, and really entertaining as well. His channel is really entertaining. He has a great way of speaking to the camera, and it's so it was great to meet him in person. We hung out for a while. I saw the Jim Riley drum clinic that was that afternoon. Jim Riley put on an amazing performance, included some of his material from his books, and just a fun hour or 90 minutes of drumming, and listening to him play. I mean, he has this amazing sounding Ludwig kit, and one thing that kind of like he talked about that I stuck with me, and I knew he's done this for a while, but like he sets his bass drum, instead of setting his bass drum straight on, he sets his bass drum out like if you're so your feet are kind of like going this way. He sets his so that way he's centered, and the drum kit is not centered. Although he was playing a double bass kit, so it is centered, but the left bass drum he doesn't even use. He's only using the right bass drum, and it faces sort of off to the right. So it's interesting kind of concept there about like facing the audience instead of setting up facing like that way with your bass drum head on this way. He sets up this way, so the bass drum is pointed that way, and just some stuff to think about there, and just ergonomics, So yeah, I think that's it that's all I want to say about the drum show. It was really, there was a ton of booths. I think they sold out the booths, which is great news. And I'm looking forward to next year. I hear next year is going to be even in a bigger space. So, looking forward to that. But yeah, it was great to see everybody. There was Mike at Humes Berg. We took some photos there, and just just yucking it up with all these great drummers. It's a fun hang. Last but not least, yesterday was the first rehearsal we've had in a long time for the Hot Hands trio. I've talked about Hot Hands in some of the previous episodes. We've all been sort of on hiatus because we all had different vacations that were sort of like staggered, which was not on purpose, but it just sort of happened that way. So we're back. We're all back in town. We all managed to get in the same room again, and we're trying to reacquaint ourselves with the songs that we wrote. So we got together yesterday. It was great fun, great energy. Good to see those guys, and great to play that music again. I just love what we're doing with that band. So I can't wait to perform with that band. We still haven't booked our first gig yet. We did technically, but we had to nix it and do something else because one of the guys got COVID. So we actually haven't played our first gig yet, but hopefully soon. One of us, we're all trying to book a gig, and trying to find venues that will host us and host that kind of music. So we're working on that. So stay tuned for that. All right, that's it. I'm gonna wrap it up right now. thank you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You know what to do. Don't forget, I have a Patreon page, patreon.com/Brian Zach. Please join me there. It's $5 a month. There's a ton of footage and wealth of knowledge there that I share, videos, instructionals, all sorts of great information stuff on navigating the music business from the drummer's chair. So check that out. If you want to study with me, drum lessons, I'm here in Nashville. Look me up, just Brian Zach. Go to my website, brianzach.com. Hit me up there. If you're not in Nashville, we can do Skype lessons or FaceTime or Zoom or whatever your preferred format is. We can do that here, and we can do that on camera, and we can do lessons that way. So, yeah, that's it. Thanks again. Thanks for tuning in. I will see you on the next episode. Enjoy your summer, guys.